Okay, so still we are in the SQL statement, and we are still on the uh, PHP MySQL, no? So still, yun pa rin yung gagamitin natin. That is still our software because we use as of the moment, no? After this, siguro, we'll be migrating to uh, the SQL server, no? Okay. No. Um, what we're going to do today is I will be discussing SQL joins and aggregate functions, no? So let me share my screen. Can you see now my screen? Nakikita ba?
Yes,
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 sir.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So this is our topic for today. No? So SQL join types, aggregate functions, and subquery. So with this, um, I will be demonstrating how this is done. What are the different SQL joins, and what is aggregate functions and subquery. No? Okay. So we are already done with the normalization. So basically, normalization, it is really it is connection between the different tables inside your database, and um, uh, usually it is connected through numbers. So as you can see, you have the foreign key, you have the primary key. Most of the time, they are numbers, and it is hard for you to see or to at least find what is really the data behind those numbers because they are disconnected with the other table. Now, SQL joins are used to stitch them since it's like the relationship, the types of relationship or the normalization that you have did is could be understood by the computer and you as well. But for you to interpret the data, sometimes you have to define, you have to connect it with what is really the true value of those numbers. That's why SQL joins are needed. It is used to stitch, okay? It is used to stitch different tables. Okay? Now, we have different kinds of um, uh, joins, no? Let me have this, okay? We have the inner, we have the left, we have the right, and we have the outer or the full join na tinatawag, okay? So this SQL joins has difference. They have different types of they have difference, but they are all types of joins, no? Okay, so let's see this lecture. Okay, so inner join. So as you can see, inner join is the most frequently used and important of all the joins. So it is called the inner join. They are also referred. Join lang natin yung pumapasok. Wala. Anyway, they're also referred as an equi join. The inner join, it is referred as equi join because sometimes it has to have an equivalent on the other table. If not, they will be deleted or they will not be displayed, not deleted. Okay. So as an example is here. I prepared a visual example on how are you going to on how am I going to explain what inner join is. So see this example. So I have here a sample table. If you have questions, just type it on the text box or on the chat box, no? Para I could answer it later on. Okay, so we have two types of we have two tables here. So I have users or I have users and I have a hobby. Okay, so both user and hobby table do have a columns. They have two both columns. They have ID and the name, and the hobby does have ID and the hobby. Okay. So this is the simplest example of join, and this is the uh, simplest example of all the joins that we're going to refer to. Okay. Now, assuming that this is already connected, they already is assuming they already has a relationship and they already have um, they call this normalized. It is already normalized. Okay. Later on, we'll be going back to our previous example last time, the inventory, wherein we put I think four or three tables normalized and connected to each other. And that was based also on your previous activity, which the library. Okay. So here, I have users and hobby. So assuming among the names, we have Marvin Reyes, Melissa Pantig, Liza Manantil, Ricky Oliveria, and Marcia Superio. Okay. And they have ID numbers. Okay. So one is Marvin, two is Melissa, three is Liza, four is Ricky, and five is Marcia. Okay. And each of this person do have different hobbies. Okay. So let's say, for example, Melissa do like racing and climbing. Okay. Number three, we have Lisa do like swimming. Okay. Then number four, number five, okay, which is Marsha, do love painting and singing, and boxing. Okay. So as you can see, each of this do have an equivalent on the table one or the table users. Now, let's try first the inner join. Okay. Let's try first the inner join. The inner join is comprised like this, or explained like this, no? So assuming this is my table one, and I would have the table two. Okay, so this is my table two, table one, and then this is my table two. So let me just have this. Okay, inner join. Okay, so this is table user. Okay, so this is table user, and we have another table which is this is hobby. Okay, forgot to rename it's hobby. Okay. Now, how does inner join works? Okay, so the inner join works like this. So each of this do have, let's say for example, Marvin Reyes is here. So let me just get all of this. Get all of this. Makuha. Just get it one by one. Okay, we have Marsha here. We have Ricky here. We have Lisa. We have Melissa. And we have Marvin. Okay. Also, here, we have boxing. We have singing. We have painting. Yes, put it at the back. Para makita natin. Okay. We have swimming. We have climbing. And we have racing. Okay. So, in my representation, this is table 1, which is the user. And this is table 2, which is the hobby. Okay, going back here. So, this is the derivation of that. Okay. Now, inner join works with joining two tables. Okay, so it's called join. Joining two tables, which has an equivalent to the second table. So inner join works like this. Okay, so it has, let's say, for example, two. Okay, we have 2, which is Melissa. Okay, it will be under racing, and then rhyming. Okay, then we have 3, which is Lisa. Yes, swimming. Okay, then we have 5, which is Marsha. Okay, has painting, has singing, and it has boxing. Okay, so this represents like this. Okay, so this is inner join. Okay, so some 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 will not be included on the lists because they have no equivalent on the other side. Okay, so how does it work? Look at this. Let's go back to our example here. Okay. Example of which is this one. Select customers. Okay. So let's have the DOS so that you could really understood it. So let's try to create the two table. So let's go here. So let's say for example, let's create the base. Let's have joins. Okay. So let's show database. Okay. Now let's use joins example. Okay. Now let's try to create two table. First table, let's use okay. So we created table called user, okay, ID, int null, not null, and we have the name varchar limit of 20. So let's describe user. So this is our first table. Okay. This is we have the user table. Now let's create the second table. Okay. Now we created the second table, which is the table hobby, which has the ID and the hobby column. We have integer and a varchar, a limit of 20. Okay. Now let's describe this again. Hobby. Okay. Now, currently we have two tables. So we have users or user and the hobby. Okay. So to make it sure, let's see two tables. Okay. So we have users and hobby. Now let's input what is our example. This one. Okay. So under users, we have Marvin, Melissa, Lisa, Ricky, and Marsha. Okay. So this has already been done, diba? We already done this. Uh, Insert into user. We have ID, which is this one, and name, which is this one. Okay, values. Okay, then the following. Okay, let's try to see our table. Select asterisk from users. Okay, that is exactly as our example. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's input our second set of values. Okay, so here we have insert into hobby, ID hobby. Okay, we have values such this, and then let's execute it. Let's try to see our record. Select erase or all from table name, which is hobby. Okay. So exactly as our table number 2. Okay, exactly as our table number 2. Now, what are we going to do is we are going to have the inner join. So how does this inner join being executed or will be executed um, using SQL commands? No. Now let me before I execute this. Actually, there are series of commands in SQL that you could combine it, but then the result will not be accurate. No? So you could combine actually two tables with, by just simply the select statement. So let's say select asterisk or select all from table, just call the table, which is user and hobby. Okay, see, okay. What happened? What happened? What happened to this? Why is it we only have 5 records here on table 1, and then 6 records on table 2, and then what happened here was it has so many records. Any idea here? What happened? Bakit sobrang dami ng records nang lumabas nung uh, why is that we have so many records when we combine two tables? Why is that so? Any idea from the class? You could type your answers on the chat if you have any idea what happened. Bakit sobrang dami nung records na lumalabas? Well, that it has so many records. Supposed to be we only have if that is 5 and 6, we only have 11 suppose. No? What happened was, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all of that has an equivalent of racing, climbing, swimming, okay? Which means that it autofills all the columns and rows into uh, an equivalent values of the second table. Okay, that's why each of racing do have the 5 records. Okay, all of the look at this racing. All of the racing, or all the racing hobby filled with the 5 records of table number 1. Climbing, 5 records again of table number 1, and the rest will follow. And this is not correct because on our record reference, only few likes racing, only few likes climbing, only few likes swimming. Now, inner joins could limit that. Okay? inner joins could limit that. So let's say, for example, again, now going back to our diagram here, okay, how does inner join works? Let's have a simple example. Okay, here, can you see the texts? Nakikita ba natin yung text?
Yes po, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, okay, select user. Okay. So, balikan natin yung table natin. Let's go back to our table. Describe user. Describe hobby. So that you could see it. Okay. So that we could reference it. No? Now, select user. We are referring the table. We are referring to the table. User name. We are referring to the column or the field. Okay. Why is that we need to tag along the table? Because this is a combination of two tables. Okay. And also we are just selecting the columns that we want to show or display. We are not displaying all of them. That's why we did not use the asterisk. Okay. Since we only need the name, let's say, so to speak, we only need the name and the hobby of that person, we were just going to include two columns. Okay? That's why select username, this one, user and the name, and the hobby and hobby. Okay? From, okay, this is user, okay, this is the table user, okay, and then join, okay, hobby, the second table. On, okay, this is your parameter in joining. This is your parameter in joining, no? So, user.id, this one, okay, is equivalent to hobby.id, which is also equivalent to this, which only we ask is display all ID, okay, display all the ID, but with the equivalent of ID on the second table. Okay, so let's try. This is the result then. Okay, can we see Marvin Reyes? No. Can we see Ricky Oliveria? No, because they don't have any hobby. Okay, do you get what I mean? Inner join. Okay, so inner join is like an equivalent value here should have also an equivalent value. Oh, saan na? Okay, so an equivalent value here should also have an equivalent value on the left. So this is the left and the right. So in combination, that's why it's called inner join, because the value on the left should have an equivalent on the value on the right. Okay, so that is your inner join. Okay, this is only being executed using queries. No, if you're going to ask me whether did it create another table, would it create another table? It's not. No, it's not actually creating another table. You are just displaying what is the result of your join. But then, question, is that Does that mean that Marvin Reyes and Ricky Oliveria is already deleted on the lists or in the values? No, also, no, they are not deleted. Okay? What you have did is you just pick the result of our SQL inner join. Okay, saan yun? Okay, this is already your inner join, no? Now, this will also be uploaded on your canvas so that kapag kailangan nyo, you could still go back to our lecture anyway. Question in your inner joy. Question. Question? Wala? None? Okay. So just look at the diagram. Just look at the diagram. You will visualize what particular join concept is it is. Okay? Next tayo. Next is a left join. Okay, ano naman yung left join? So, tingnan naman natin. Okay. Again, no, we have two tables. This is our example. Gawin ko ulit yung diagram natin. Let me do the diagram again. Okay. The left join, this is considered as your left. Okay. So, format lang natin yung shape natin. Lagyan natin siya ng fill. So, this one. Okay. The left join represented like this. Okay. So, let's say, for example, oops, we will going to get all of this record. We will get all of this record and then compare it to the side, to the table 2. And then afterwards, if ever that there is no, okay, there is no equivalent value on the next side, on the user side, on the hobby side, what will happen is it will just fill null. Okay. So example. Okay, so let's say Marvin Reyes. Kukunin natin sila. Why is that it's not selecting? Okay. So if ever, let's say for example, Marvin Reyes doesn't have any, what will happen? It will just display. Suppose it will display null. For Melissa Pantig, number 2. So that's racing. Same on Melissa. And then climbing. What happened here is the dominant table is the left. So it's called left join, no? Okay, something like this, no? And then Lisa, number 3. Do you have number 3? Yeah. Swimming, swimming. And then it's a Ricky, but and then singing, painting, unboxing. Okay, like this. Output. Of course, this will not be included anymore, itong mga to. Okay. Unless we will call them, no? Yeah, no. They will not be included anymore. Okay, oops. Okay. Because what happened was the reference is our left. Okay. Again, what we are trying to do is we are trying to stitch, no? So let's try to execute our left. Okay. So let's try to describe again so that we could see our table. Describe user. Got it. Okay. Now here is the left join. Actually, it's the same. No, it's the same. What's the difference is the function that you are calling left join. Okay, left join, which means you are referencing to the left, which is the user. Okay, and then the right, your right table is your uh, hobby. Let's try to execute this. So in here, you will see that all of your record on the left is displayed. Okay, all of your record on the left is displayed. But then, if ever that happens that it has no equivalent value on the right, it will just display null. Okay, so for example, Melissa loves racing, Melissa loves climbing, Lisa loves swimming, Marsha do have three, painting, singing, boxing, Marvin doesn't have any at all, and Ricky as well. So they just filled in with a null value. Okay, so this is the example of your left join. Okay, so question on left join. Question? Wala. Okay, so let's proceed with the next one. Okay, so anyway, this is left join. Okay, let's now move on with the right join, no? Right join tayo. Here, let's have the right join naman. So if the concept of left join is the dominant or the reference table natin is the left, it's like the left join. But then this time the dominant or the reference table natin would be right. Okay, all the values which has no equivalent values on the left will just be displayed as null value. Example. So, kung halimbawa, this is right. So, ito ang dominant natin. So, let's solid fill this to okay. Now, let's have racing and then boxing kasi galing sa ilan. Oh, yeah. So, boxing. So, it's like this. Ganito lang siya. Halos parehas lang din magiging ref. It's like the same, no? Pero ang display lang is, let's say for example, we have singing, painting, We don't have any values that has no all of which are being used. Hmm. Let's say for example, mag-add ako ng value, no? Mag-add ako ng value. Let's say for example, I could not represent this using this data. Eh. Okay, let's say for example, let's have like this. Represent it using it. Let's say 7. So 7 is not existing. So say this is gaming. Gaming. Then let's say 8. Uh, um, what hobby? Gaming, reading. Let's say reading. Let me add this to our data. Add this to our data. Para ma-execute natin siya. Values. Joins example. Insert. Insert. Values. Values. Ano kasi yung dinagdag natin? We have 7. 7. Our value is 10. Another 8. And then we have reading. Oh, forgot this. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so we already have 8 records here. Now let's try to have the right join. Okay. So again, no, what happened was we just changed the function name into right join, no? And let's try to execute this. Yeah, look at this. What happened was on the right join, since this is the reference join, you have racing, so you have Melissa, you have climbing, you have Melissa, and then since gaming and reading doesn't have any equivalent on the left, they just put null. Okay? They just put null. Okay? It's the other way around of the left join, no? Okay, so going back to your left join, since Marvin Reyes and Ricky doesn't have any equivalent on the second table, it displays null. While reading and gaming doesn't have any equivalent on the left table, it displays null. Okay, okay. So it's the opposite or the other way around lang, no? Halos pares lang sila ng konsepto, pero ang pinagkaiba lang is yung reference table nila. Okay? Question in the right join. Question? None? Okay. Now, let's move on with the outer or yung tinatawag nating full join. So this is the outer or the full join. No? Okay. So the outer or the full join is like this. Parehas sila. No? You are just calling the left and right join, the left and right column, the left and right table, and then you're just joining them. If ever there is a null value on the left, if there is, let's say, for example, here, it has no value on the left, it would just display null. And then here, if singing and boxing doesn't have any value on the left also, it will just display null. Okay? Example. Again, no? Describe ulit natin. Describe. Describe user. Oops. Okay. Here, as you can see here, you're just going to have the same command, no? Left and then right join. But then you are just going to use the union word or the union command or the union function for you to stitch the left and the right join. Okay, so let's see. So Melissa, racing and climbing. Lisa has swimming. Marsha has painting, singing, and boxing. Marvin Reyes doesn't have any equivalent on the right table. That's why it's called, they just filled with null. Since also gaming and reading doesn't have any equivalent on the left table, it it was being filled out to null. And that is a full join or the outer join na tinatawag. Okay? So, all of which, they are all kinds of joins. No? Again, now you could actually combining two tables, just calling them, it's really not that good. No? The result would be not good. Kagaya nung pinakita ko sa inyo kanina. Okay? It would auto-fill out all the information. Okay? But then with the use of this, you could actually uh, filter what is really the record. Now let's try our example last time, yung inventory, no? Let's try to use the inventory table, inventory database. Show database. This is inventory, no? Use inventory. Okay. Show tables. These are the tables that we have used last time as our example. No, this is already has a relationship between. No, um, dito pa yan eh. Where's that? Application access. Here. This is our inventory. Remember, this is our created last time. And if you could see in the designer, it has already a relationship. No? Yung ginawa natin last time. This is our example, which was based on your activity, which is the um, library. No? Library database. No? Now, let's try to at least join some. No? Or let's try to execute join query on here. So let's say, for example, we want to see uh, customers and their transactions, no? Their transactions. So this is the actual application of uh, join queries in the tables which has a relationship, no? Okay. So let's say let's describe customer. So in PBL. PBL customer with S. And then let's describe. Okay, so this is your table customer and the related to your table customer, which is the transaction. So describe PBL trans. Okay. And let's see. Now under here, we could do the inner join. Let's say, for example, we want to see the customers and what they have purchased. So we could execute the inner join. We want to see the equivalent. Okay. So select TBL customer's name. This one. We want to display the customer name and TBL transaction product ID. Okay. This one. Okay. Which is also connected to the other table. Okay. So we want to see which or what particular products did each customer purchase. Okay. And we don't want to see those customers who did not purchase anything. That's why we are executing inner join. Okay. Now, see. So as you can see here, you will notice, you will see that Marvin Reyes do purchase twice. Marcia Superi do purchase twice. No? Then you have another purchase from Marvin Reyes, which is additional 3. And then Marcia did purchase again 2. And then Marvin Reyes did purchase another 1. If you're going to see this, select asterisk from users. Users. It's PBL customers. PBL customers. We only have this names. Lisa Manangkil did not appear. Okay. Melissa did not appear. Enrique did not appear. Maybe because they did not purchase anything. Okay, let's see the transaction. So, from PBL trans. Okay. As you can see here, 01, Marvin Reyes, 01, then 05, it's Marsha, and then you have 01 again, Marvin Reyes, and then 05 again is Marsha, and then 01 is Marvin Reyes again. That's why our result is like this. Because other than Marsha and Marvin, the other clients or customers did not purchase anything. Okay? Did you get the application of the inner join? And what does it do in your normalized tables? Okay? Nakukuha ba what I'm trying to discuss here?
Yes, sir.
Um, if you find this quite difficult to understand, there are series of books, tutorials in the internet that you could refer to also. Maybe um, by trying to read it to at least view some other video tutorials, you could really clarify, you could really expound more on what I'm trying to explain here and what is the essential, what is the essence of SQL joins. No? But the simplest examples that I could give is yung kanina, no? Since this is already a relational database that I am currently using, which was our example, okay? Like for example here, it is, yeah, you'll see kung ilan yung quantity na binili. You will see how many quantity did a particular, yeah, no? Now, if we want, let's say for example, we want additional table, additional columns that we want to see, no? Pwede naman. We could do that. By simply what? By simply adding additional, let's here. By simply adding additional here. Okay? Let's say for example, we want to see the quantity, kung ilan yung binili niya, no? Nung mga yon. So, let's have TBL trends that quantity. Quantity. Okay. But our reference pa rin is customer ID. Okay. Yeah. You'll see now that it is now has three columns, and you will see now kasi tinawag na natin si quantity, you will see how many did Marvin Reyes purchase on a particular product. Okay. So on and so forth. Okay. So again, no, you could use this. You could do the asterisk if you really want to display all of the fields. Why not? If it is necessary, but if not, you just select some. Okay. Now this is the outer. That example is with the relational side, no, with a normalized table. No. Now let's go back to our lecture. Okay. Now here is the aggregation function. So aggregate functions are used to compute against returned columns and numerical data. So this is quite familiar to you. It's like, let's say for example, if you have Microsoft Excel, so uh, to determine the smallest, to determine the max, okay? So this is simply, it is easy to follow and understood, no? So select max, okay? Sell price from the table, okay? So select max. This is your field name. No? This is your field name. Yeah, no? Select count asterisk from products. So, ganun din, no? Madali lang to. Now, this is for, let's say, for example, for limiting this one. Okay? So, all of you guys do have C dotted, di ba? C++. So, you could do this already, no? So, halimbawa, yan, no? You're just limiting it. You know, you have less than, greater than. You could do and or, no? You could do and or. Okay? So let's say for example, tignan natin to. Let's go with this one. Okay. So we want to select, let's say for example, we want to select all of the customers living in Angeles City. Yan, no? We want to select all the customers living in Angeles City. So what will be our um, command? So let's say select all. Okay. Meaning we are going to display all the columns, all the field name, yeah, from TBL customer. Tama ba yung TBL customer? Okay. Where you have the where clause. Where in here you have to be exact in the field that you're going to call. Let's say, for example, since it is a city, you call city, but then the table, okay, on your table, it is defined as address. It will not going to work. It should be the same, no? So where address is equals to, let's say it as a text or a string, say Angeles. If we put Angeles, okay, let's say, okay, it will not going to return anything because, okay, since you enclose it with comma, a single quote, okay, it should be exactly as it is. It should have city. So let's say let's, yan, no? It should now return two values because in our example here, we only have two people living in Angeles City. Okay, let's try Magalang. Let's try Magalang. Okay, let's try Magalang. Pampanga. Okay, makikita natin it display only one. No? Now, with the use of your and or, you could also do that. Let's say here, where address equals to Magalang. Okay, or equals to, let's say, Angeles City. Type yung ano lang, parang C++ nyo lang to dati. Okay, something like that. So you'll see, since you have or, which means either either Angeles City or Magalang, Pampanga will do. It will be displayed. No? It will be displayed. How about with the use of your greater than and less than? This follows with your numbers. So let's say for example age, no? Age tayo. Let's see. Select is from TBL customers. Hindi ko na ini-scroll. Oops. Why do I keep typing S? No. Okay. Now let's try this. Let's see. We want to see those um, persons with age less than 20. Okay. So let's say for example, select from from PBL customer where age is that's done. 20. Say, yan. Only one, no? Marsha, 18, no? How about we range it, no? We range it. Let's say, for example, no? Gusto natin makita, we want to see ages 18 to 21 or ages 18 to 20. So how do we do that? Siyempre, kasama yung 19 years old dyan. 19 years old would be included. Okay, 18 exactly, 20 exactly would be included. So how are we going to do that? So here we could use less than 80, 18, less than 20. Uh, we could do equal 20 and age is greater than equal to 18. Yan. No? Okay, so this is the power of your SQL commands, no? This is for filtering. You could do several out from here. You could have or and less than greater than, no, and so on. Okay, this is quite easy to understood since it is English like language already. No? Okay. So question so far with this. Question so far. I did not yet done. I'm not yet done with